Hello, lovely people. Welcome back to my channel. My name is Sharon. Thank you for your patience. I have missed you. So the reason I've been away for so long, a few weeks now, is that I have rescued a cat, and I have called her Mimosa, Mimi for short. She is absolutely gorgeous, but we have been through some difficult times together. I'm not going to go into everything here because I feel it's unnecessary, but put it this way, she was abused in her previous life. So she's 3 and she is now with me, where she is completely safe, completely loved and completely wanted. So, but it's very interesting that she has come into my life when I wasn't really expecting it. And sometimes these things happen for a reason. I believe that animals are master teachers. And it was on one of the weekends. So essentially what happened was I'd spotted her on a website and I absolutely fell in love with her. I thought she was absolutely adorable, which she is. And she was on this website for almost 6 weeks. And I kind of, during that time, I ummed and ahed about it. Do I really want to get another cat? It's been almost 14 years since I've had a cat. I do still consider myself to be an experienced cat owner. I've kind of grown up with cats my whole life, and I am what you would call a crazy cat lady. I am a serious cat lover, as I am with all animals, but cats in particular. I think it's because they're on a different vibration than the rest of us. I love the fact that cats are independent, more so than other animals. And you kind of know if they don't like you, and they'll sit and stare at you and judge you. Oh, I love it. I absolutely love my new fur baby. She's beautiful. So, but yeah, when I saw her on this website, I ummed and ahed about it for about 5 weeks after I'd spotted her, because I wasn't really expecting to get another cat. If you'd have asked me 3 months ago, would I be getting another cat? I'd have said no. But it just kind of happened, and it all kind of slotted into place where it was totally meant to be. She's absolutely stunning. I will put some pictures up of her for you to have a look at. She's a Maine Coon cross, so she's big and fluffy, and she's just absolutely gorgeous. So, but we've been through some difficulties which have really opened my eyes, and it was only after a couple of weeks she hid under the sofa for almost 3 weeks, and it was only the weekend before she started to come out. She started to come out to me and actually let me stroke her on a Monday. So it was really only that weekend that I couldn't get out of my head that when the student is ready, the teacher appears, and I could not think of anything else. And it was like a light bulb moment to me, and I suddenly realized she's come into my life as a teacher. And animals are master teachers as well as master healers as well. I feel cats in particular have a certain healing frequency, like when their purr is a certain frequency that heals the human physical and the soul, if you like. So I'm not going to lie, I've struggled with her. I haven't been in this situation before. Yes, I've rescued animals before. They always seem to be automatically attracted to, or I attract them. Let's reword it. I seem to attract animals as well as people that, need rescuing and or healing. But I hadn't been in this situation that I was going through with her before. So it was certainly an eye-opener, and it's been actually quite profound. And she is the most gorgeous cat. She's so beautiful, so loving. She's still nervous of sounds she doesn't recognize, clearly from what she's experienced in her previous life, which is just, I can't even think about what she's been through. I literally don't know, but I know that it was not good. Okay, let's just put it that way. This is what the fam have said to me. I don't need to know what she's been through. I know what she's going through now, and she is now living her best life. As I said, we're still getting used to each other. It's literally only been like 5 weeks, just over, since I've got her. I got her on the 18th of July. And weirdly, even a few days before I went to see her, I felt like her energy was already here with me, which was odd. And I'd already chosen a name for her, again, which I find a bit odd, but maybe it isn't. I don't know. Because normally, well, I say normally, what the hell is normal? Who knows? But usually, let's rephrase it, usually you would wait for the animal or the child to come along, perhaps, before you name them, because you want to see what their personality is like. But by looking at the picture of her, I just knew her name was Mimosa to me. So she's absolutely wonderful, and she's kind of filled a void that I was feeling in my life. I do live a very solitary life, and I don't want any of you to kind of feel sorry for me or anything like that, because I'm used to it. I'm used to being on my own. But it can get very lonely, and particularly on the spiritual path that I have chosen. Not many people understand me, and I've always felt that I never fitted in, going right back to when I was at school. Always felt not good enough, like I never fitted in, like nobody would accept me, nobody understood me, etc. And that is still carried through now into my adult years. And it is a very difficult, very lonely path that I have chosen. So I'm hoping to create a tribe now where we have a safe space for like-minded people, where we just accept each other for who we are. I've also been suffering a little bit through this Mercury retrograde. This was an absolute nightmare, if I'm honest, this past Mercury retrograde. I'm a double Mercury. I'm a Gemini sun, I have Virgo rising, plus I have Leo moon. So I'm a double Mercury. Nightmare. This one felt particularly tough. The day job, the systems that crashed was unbelievable. Obviously, Mercury is the planet of communication. So when we think about things that go wrong with communication, what is a form of communication? Not only like physical letter, but emails, websites, so even social media, all these things, as well as obviously the physical voice, all these things are affected and ruled by communication. So yeah, everything was going wrong. So that was a difficult one, so I think the next one's kind of November, December time, I think. Is it 3 or 4 times a year we get them, Mercury retrograde? But I have to say, this one has probably affected me the most. Excuse me. Possibly with Mimi as well, my cat. I feel, obviously, you know, there was a breakdown. I feel like there was a breakdown, and it's taken me a long time to trust me and to know that I'm not a threat, etc. So, as I said, we're still working through it. It's only been really a very short space of time in the scheme of things, you know, and I've got to give myself patience as well as her. You know, it's been a massive adjustment on both our parts. Obviously, she's been getting used to the house. You know, she's been getting used to my energy. I've been getting used to her energy. But as I said, I absolutely love her to pieces. She's completely gorgeous. Yeah. And if I can work out how to do it, I will put some pictures up of her. So anyway, so I feel that the animal kingdom is really speaking to us. And I have got a couple of cards, and I want to pull some more out, as always. My cards are cleansed and the energy is cleansed, as well as my office here. Everywhere's cleansed before I start, and I do shuffle my decks pre-recording. And if anything jumps out, that kind of gives me the vibe of the day, if you know what I mean. So that kind of helps me tap into the energy. But I feel like it's important at this time now that we really start listening to the animals, because I feel like they do have a lot to say. They have a lot to tell us. And the spirit, the fam is saying, just slow down with your animals. Having Mimi with me is teaching me to slow down. Now, naturally, I want to start. I feel actually for a couple of years that I've wanted to start slowing down in the way that I think, the way that I do things, even the way that I walk, the way that I talk. Because I'm a Gemini, I'm naturally very quick at everything. I think quickly, I speak quickly, or I can do. I even walk quickly. I know that, you know, back in the day, people used to comment, God, Sharon, slow down, you're walking too quick. But it's just the way my mind works. And I go from, okay, so what was I doing yesterday to what am I doing now? What am I doing tomorrow? What am I doing next week, next year? Okay, that's kind of how my brain works. And honestly, it does my head in. It does my own head in, because I feel like sometimes, whoa, we just stop and slow down and just breathe and kind of float through the day. That's kind of how I want to. But with getting older, I'm now in my mid-50s, I naturally want to start slowing down, but it's kind of a battle with me, with, as I said, the way that my brain works, the way that I speak. And I also feel like I kind of almost, it kind of makes me overcompensate, if you know what I mean. So then I kind of go the opposite way, like where I feel like I'm really slow. So yeah, I think it's really about finding that equal balance. And which is best for you. You know, we have to go at our own pace in life. As I say many times, it's not a race. It's not a competition. We're not here to keep up with the Joneses, or, as I said in my other video, the Kardashians. Can't keep up with them. No chance. Wouldn't particularly want to either. Sorry, if I start doing this sort of thing, then it's cat fur. So I apologise. And if you see any anomalies floating past the camera, it's more than likely cat fur. I've been brushing her, actually, and I have to say she absolutely loves it, which is wonderful. And it's really helped to start bonding us together. But my goodness, the fur, yeah, I'm going to have to up my cleaning game in my house. I think I'll just have to turn into Mrs. Hinch or whatever, you know. But we're getting there. As I said, it's all in experience, you know, and I'm not bothered about it. It's kind of, you know, I was always very much with people, love me, love my cat kind of thing. You know, if you accept me, then you have to accept my cat as well, you know, and I've always been like that, even when I had my other cat, Salem, who in spirit still sleeps on my bed every night. He even comes on holiday with me, which I find that amazing. I went to Cuba a couple of years ago and I felt him jump on my bed in Cuba. Now, how cool is that? Now, I find that absolutely amazing and fascinating that spirit can do that. You literally just think where you want to be and you're there. You don't need planes, trains, and automobiles. I find that so cool that you can do that. And Mimi has obviously seen Salem here, which I feel like, you know, when she first came here, I think it freaked her out. Now she's used to him. Even my cousin, hi Linda, if you're watching this, hello my lovely. When she stayed here in this house a few years ago, she felt him, Salem, my cat, in spirit, jump on her bed. And he was obviously checking her out, just making sure she was worthy. That's what Salem used to do, you know. If I had strangers in the house, he, excuse me, he would come and sit and stare at you and judge you, you know, like cats do. We've not got to that stage yet with Mimi. Excuse me, but we will. So it's been a very, very interesting time. But the animals have a lot to tell us, the fam are saying. And it's time now to start slowing down and listening to them. Because what they're saying is we're kind of on the edge of a precipice in a lot of the countries of the world, you know, not only in the UK, where we're struggling with things that are going on, and the lack of support, because we don't have the support that we need through the people that we feel we want to be in charge, that you know, the powers that be. We're not getting the support that we need, because, and the reason is, I'm being told, is because they don't understand. Okay, they've just said they don't understand the little people. Okay, and it's not that we're little, but they feel that we're beneath them. Okay, it's like they've been the ones in power, and previous people in power have been born with almost with a silver spoon in their mouths. So they don't get it. They don't get the struggle, the frustration, the anguish, the fear, the financial hardships. They don't get it. And what the fam are saying is, it's time now to bring in people that do get it, so that they are here for us, for the little people. You know, okay, so let's talk about the royal family then. I don't know why I'm going on this, but I'm being led. I just do what I'm told, as you know. Love them or hate them, the royal family, I feel, are here to stay for maybe, I think we'll get a King George, the 5th, 6th, 7th, whatever, I don't know, which is William and Catherine's. Is he the eldest? Is it George? George, Charlotte and Louis, isn't it? Yeah, in that order. And then I think it might disband. I think it might go. So we've got another couple of generations to go yet of the royal family, but love them or hate them, they are around. But what we have to remember is what I'm being told, that is an institution. Okay, they might, you know, do a walkabout or, you know, wave from a car or something like that and think they are doing good. But a lot of what they do, which I'm being told, is extremely outdated. It's like 2, 3, 4, 500 years out of date, almost. Some of the traditions. Now, I understand that a lot of people like the traditions, you know, the pomp and the pageantry. And let's face it, nobody does it like the Brits. And they really don't. No country in the world does it like the Brits. Okay, the pomp and the pageantry. And I'm there. I'll watch the funerals and the weddings and etc. You know, I think morbid fascination more than anything with me personally. I have nothing against them as people. I always had a bit of a soft spot, and my mum did as well, for King Charles, because I felt, and I think she probably did as well, that he deserved to be king earlier than he was. He's waited his entire life, and now he's not going to be king for that much longer. You know, he's not going to live for another 50 years, is he? You know, what is he now, in his 70s? I don't know. But it's an institution and they don't get it. They don't understand. Yes, they might walk into a hospital with cancer patients or disabled children and, you know, go and shake a few hands, etc. They don't get it. They've never had the struggles that you and I have had, you know. And I'm not going to start being horrible or anything like that, because that's not really me, and I'm not going to do that. But it's really, what they're saying is, we need to understand that we don't need these people in power. We don't need them in power, because we hold the power. And I think I'm being led to talk more about that, but I think that's for a different video. So I might record that after this one. Yeah. The animal kingdom, though, is speaking to us. And they can help us if we just let them. So let's tap in. So I've pulled, 4 cards jumped out. So to start with, we have Swan Spirit. Time for a deep dive. So isn't this an absolutely gorgeous card? So what Spirit is saying is, we need to really look at how swans react as well. They are incredible creatures. I also believe they're protected, I think, by the crown. Protected species. They will look after their young to the death, like anyone would. But they have this grace and beauty and innocence and fierceness about them as well. You don't mess with a swan if it's protecting its young, like anything. You're not going to mess with that. Like if you're going to go out into, I don't know, Appalachia, and you're going to see a bear with its cubs, you're not going to go near that. Anybody with any sense in their brain is not going to go near that bear with those little fur babes. But let's think about this deep dive. So what do we need to do with that? We need to think about how we can start putting out our own power. How can we start thinking about, okay, so we've got these people in power at the moment that are running, just for example, the UK. Okay, so let's just talk about the UK. Sir Keir Starmer is our Prime Minister currently. I have a feeling he is going to step down or will be asked to step down. I think something's going to come out. But as I said, I want to talk more about that in a different video because I want to stick with the animals. But the point is, Spirit is saying, we don't need these people in power because we already hold the power. So we need to get out of this mindset that we need people in power because we think they're better looking, they've got more money, you know, etc. They know more than we do in politics or whatever. Okay, the same with the royal family. They will only go, and that will dissipate when we start to believe that we don't need them. So going through a deep dive is really thinking about, okay, so what is it that you want? What is it that you're working towards? What makes you happy? What do you find joy in? Where is your truth? Because we've got bat spirit, a rebirth is assured. Now, let's just look at this gorgeous little bat here. I love bats. They're so gorgeous. What do bats do when they roost or they sleep? They sleep upside down, don't they? With their wings covering them. Oh, that would be so cool to do that, wouldn't it? Wrap yourself up in your wings. Well, if we look at the image of the hanged man in the tarot, what's he doing? He's hanging upside down a bit like a bat, isn't he? So he's seeing the world from a different perspective. So this is what we're being asked to do at this time by the animal kingdom, is to turn everything on our head and to start to see everything a different way. Take that deep dive like Swan is telling us. And Bat is saying, see the world in a different way, upside down, from a different perspective. We also have Bobcat. Life is a mystery. Well, it certainly is that. But look at the wisdom in this cat's face. Just tap into that card. Look at the eyes. Full of wisdom. You see, the thing is with cats, because they really originate from like ancient Egypt. And I believe that I was in ancient Egypt, as a lot of us were. I know that that's where I've got my love of cats from. And that's probably, the same with a lot of people. And I feel that Salem in particular, my previous cat, and I actually feel like Mimi as well, Salem and I have been together through lots and lots of different lives throughout history, and that can absolutely happen. I always say that with our families, we choose our families, pre-incarnation. And it's all about the lessons and the experiences that we want and we feel like we need in this particular life. But I feel like we stick with our family units. And say, for example, if my mum and me were sat around the campfire in the spirit world, as a couple of spirits, and we were like, bloody hell, we made a right pig's ear of that last one, didn't we? Should we go back and try it again? Okay, and in the next one, I'll be your son and you can be the mother. Okay, that's how I believe it works. But just look at the wisdom of this cat and just see what he's trying to tell you. Because to me, cats are regal, and that's why they choose who they like, and they don't stand for no messing, and they will judge you. I felt like yesterday, I think that's why they're fussy eaters as well. Now, this might seem a bit ridiculous to some of you, but I feel like it's kind of in their DNA, I feel, that because they were so revered and so royalized, is that even a word? I don't even know, but they were considered royalty in ancient Egypt, and I feel like they've had the best. That's why they expect the best now. I don't know if that's true or not. I have no idea. But, if you're a cat owner, you know that cats are fussy eaters, and they'll like something one day, next day, not having it. So, it's all good fun. But yeah, I feel this cat in particular, gorgeous face, is saying, okay, now it's time to step into your power. Stop messing about. We've had enough now, because we really have had enough of the government shenanigans, etc. We don't need them. We don't need people to look up to. We are the people to look up to. We should be looking up to ourselves, stepping into our own power, speaking our truth. And we've also got snake spirit, time to heal. So animals are great healers. Cats in particular. But all animals, all nature is healing. And if we just tap into their energy and allow, and just, if you have a cat and it's on your lap or it's next to you and you're stroking it and it's purring, turn off all the other noise and just for a minute or two, just listen to that cat's purr. And that will heal you, because it's a certain frequency that cat is emitting to you in its purr. Gorgeous, gorgeous creatures. So, shall we have a look at, let's go to the tarot. And let's see what this wants to tell us. I can see, Six of Swords. Sorry, my pen's rolling all over the place. Six of Swords has just jumped out. So Spirit is saying that they want us to move on, move away from the expectation, move away from the clinging on, the clutches. It's like, okay, so they're putting images in my head like they always do, and they're saying that it's like the collective, us, are clinging to the apron strings of these people in charge, and we can't let go. We just cannot let go because we're too afraid. As I've said many, many times before, during the 2020 thing, okay, where we all had to wear face coverings, etc. And our then Prime Minister Boris Johnson said, you must stay at home. I'll never forget that broadcast. If we'd have all stood up, like 60, 70 million people, however many people are in the UK, and said, no, Boris, get lost, mate, we ain't doing it. Where's the power then? Okay, they can't chuck us all in jail. They can try. Okay, so it's really about, when we take this deep dive and start to think about really, where is the power? Why do we put let's think about, why do we put these people on a pedestal? They're no better than you or I, no worse. You know, it's really time now for us to start thinking about moving away and taking charge instead of saying yes sir and acquiescing to everything. No more. We have to change now, because if we don't, then the future generations are going to be really feeling it. Let's see what else. Yeah, we can't let go of them apron strings. I can see. We can't let go of the apron strings. That's what it's like. We've got to. It's time. Look, it's making us unhappy. The Ten of Swords. We're here like, this is us, okay, in the nest. And we're waiting for the so-called big birds to come and feed us some crumbs. And that's literally all it is. It's crumbs. Where's our truth? Where's our power? Okay, it's within us. We have everything. Everything on this planet has been given to us. Cures for every single disease. And I believe, I watched a bit of Dolores Cannon and I absolutely love her. She's now in spirit. And she said in one of her podcasts that the earth was an experiment, which I've believed for a long time. And she said there was no disease to begin with. And it was created, or disease came in when there was some sort of meteorite or meteor that fell and landed on the earth. I need to listen more to that, because I was actually quite fascinated. And that's what brought the disease in. But we have been given everything on this planet to cure every illness, every disease. But the powers that be, they want to keep us sick because we're making money for them, aren't we? You know? It's really making us unhappy. I feel like we're stuck in this nest and we're just like, please, sir, please, can I have some more? It's not good enough. You know, we are absolutely divine. We are absolutely loved beyond words. And we are so protected, so cared for, beyond our understanding. This planet is bloody hard work. Really, really hard work. And because we've decided to come back at this time and help to raise the vibration of the planet, we are just absolute, like gods and goddesses. We are the entire universe within us. That's it. We are literally just walking around in a meat suit. That's it. That we have decided to come back in whatever form that we wanted to experience. You know? What else have we got? Ace of Wands. This, okay. Yeah, this is definitely going to be another video, because we've got like the deep state here. Okay, this card is all these windows. It just reminds me that's where they want us to live. In kind of these concrete cities, on top of each other, living in boxes, essentially, concrete boxes. bowing to them, acquiescing, doing everything we're told, being controlled, being told off, you know. But if we look at this card, there is hope. Look at these lilies. Peace. Peace is coming to us if we just believe it. And we take that deep dive. Let's do this. We've got it. There's nothing to fear. Okay, we've got the Three of Wands. We can fly free. And the blossom is coming out. We're coming up. I feel that's weird. I feel that is an eclipse, and we're coming into eclipse season now, aren't we? Once we hit September, that's eclipse season. My favourite time of year is what we call the Burr months. September, October, November, December. Love it. I'm proper Christmas mad as well. And yes, my decorations do go up in November, and I don't care. Nobody cares. Who cares? Years ago, well, I was brought up in a household where everything was done on Christmas Eve. Everything. And then I kind of went through a stage where I kept everything in December, and everything was done on the 1st of December. And it's only sort of, you know, as the years have gone on, I really don't care. So everything goes up in November now. It doesn't matter. Who cares? But yeah, I feel that with the start of eclipse season now, we're going to start to move forward, and let's take baby steps. And if we stick together, nothing can break us. Nothing. Let's see what else. Okay. Justice. We're going to have equal balance. Okay. What we have to remember is we are living on a planet of duality. So there is darkness and light, light and shadow. And it's out of balance. It's out of whack at the moment. But if we can start to push ourselves forward and realize that we are the ones holding the power and not what they like to call themselves as the higher echelon, this balance is going to come back. Oh yeah, we got another bat there as well, haven't we? So we've got 2 bats. There we go. 2 bats. See the world in a different way. Sorry. Cat fur. See everything from a different perspective. Now, we're all living our lives in our own way, in the way that we think is the best way for us and our families, which is good. And even though we're living on the same planet, we kind of all have or we're all seeing the world in a different way, because it's all about perception. As I say many times, somebody else sitting here can show you the exact same cards as I am now, and you will get a completely different reading, because it's all about perception. So what they're saying is we need to see the bigger picture, see how what's happening now is going to have an effect on the future generations. Now, we might think, oh, I don't care because I won't be here. You know, we all think like that at times. But we want it to get better, don't we? We don't want to stay like this, do we? Because I don't. I know which, side I want to be on. I want to be on the consciousness side, the higher vibration. And as Dolores Cannon always said, that the world is going to split in 2. Now, she doesn't mean physically, but consciously. So we're going to have people that are here and then people that are here, okay? Now, these people, these are the ones that kind of keep the head in the sand, you know, go through the daily lives, doing everything they're told, and the low vibrational people that do crime, etc. So, and they're going to find, unless a miracle happens, they're going to find it incredibly difficult, okay, if they're here, to get up to here. We will all get there at some point. But it's important to remember the ones that we call the light workers. I think we're all light workers. We're just at different stages, I believe. But okay, so just for argument's sake, the ones that we call the light workers, we are the ones that have got to do the work, because we are the teachers. Okay, we are the ones like the hermit that are holding the lantern for the rest of humanity, and we have decided to come back at this time to speak our truth and to move people forward and to help and to heal. So let's have one more card. Okay, another animal deck. See, we're all about the animals. Well, that was a jumper. So what do we have here? Nuthatch. What have I been taught? You cannot absolutely, well, I wouldn't make it up anyway, but you can't make it up. Change your perspective. So what have we been talking about? Change the way that you see the world. Change the way that you see yourself. And change the way that you see others as well. You know, we talk about, I've been talking about all these people that are in charge, but really they're just puppets. And as I said, that's going to be for the next video. I will talk about that more because I'm being led there and I can feel nudges. So, but let's see everything from a different perspective, like the bats. Because when we do, we'll start to understand what they're saying is, when we do see things from a different perspective, we will start to see the bigger picture, and we will start to see the web of lies. And that's exactly what it is. It's a web of lies. Okay, so that's all I have for now. Thank you so much for listening. You are absolutely amazing. I adore you all. Let's listen to the animals, listen to our hearts, and see the world in a different way. And once we do that, everything will change. Thank you so much to my cards. Thank you to my fam. And if you feel so inclined, throw us a like and a subscribe. And I will see you in the next one. Take care. Bye.